like to spend your summer riding your motorcycle? Don't spend your time on the side of the road waiting on a tow truck. Give DJ's Enhanced a call for all your motorcycle tire needs. Danny is a rider and he will treat your bike as if it's his own.
Guys, what I'm doing this morning is I'm covering some water, as much water as I can before it really gets hot, and I'm using a bait. It's a swim bait made by Cream. It's called a Real Screamer. Got a nice big fat tail, gives it a lot of action through the water. The water temp is already 86 degrees starting out, and as soon as that sun pops up over the trees, it's going to rise on up. It'll probably be in the 90s before I head back toward the truck in a little while. So what I want to do is I want to work as much shade as I have this morning while before there's no shade left. I had one bite so far that missed my bait, and I think what happened was I saw the fish go after it and was impatient and probably jerked it out of his mouth. And that happens sometimes. But this is one of those days like I had last week, that this is a brutal hot Alabama summer day that every bite counts, and you need to be ready and stay alert, because you may, I've said this before, a lot of times in the summer when you're fishing in these kind of conditions, it's almost like winter conditions. If you miss a bite, you may not get another one for a while. Now, you may hit a cool pocket of water, you may hit a certain area with a ledge and get on some fish and catch 4 or 5 at once, but as a rule, the summertime is very hard to fish during the daytime, and you got to try to make every bite count. Well, I missed my first one, so score 1 goes to the bass, 0 to the fisherman. But at least I know there's something in there biting besides, now it looks to be a brim popping all around the water, which that's normal in the summer. I mean, bluegill seem to do a lot better in warm water than bass do. Could have probably came out here with a tube of crickets and just killed them. But the challenge I wanted to do today wasn't catching bluegill or brim. I wanted to try to catch a bass or two, and we're gonna work the edges as long as we've got the shade. Is up in this grass, the water's a little cooler, and when you've got live vegetation, something a lot of people don't think about, but the vegetation is producing oxygen, which a lot of your open water won't have oxygen close to the surface. It may be down wherever the thermocline is at. That's the layer of water that has the most oxygen. Well, your plant life produces oxygen. So if you can, as long as the water's high enough and there's still green vegetation, you've got a chance of catching bass relatively still close to the bank, like you would in the spring or fall. But the water gets too low in a lake, it gets off of that oxygen, or the plant life begins to die out, they will move out of the vegetation. If it starts dying, it has a reverse effect, and that area will be void of oxygen. So those will be areas to avoid once the plant life starts dying. And also, while I'm paddling, moving from one spot to another spot, I'm watching the weeds that are still in the water, still sticking up, looking for any movement that might suggest that there's a bass chasing food through the weeds. And if there are, 9 times out of 10, if there's a feeding fish that's running the weeds, you will see the weeds part back and forth, and you can actually watch them work down the bank, and sometimes you can get ahead of them and basically ambush them if you can catch them actively feeding. This morning I've seen nothing. All the activity has been out in open water, and what it looks like, what I'm seeing is like bluegill or brim just barely touching the surface, sucking little tiny bugs down. I've not really seen any activity so far except one bite that I missed. Everything else looks to have been brim or bluegill feeding on little tiny bugs, which is not helping me a lot. There's a bite. There we go. Pretty fish too. Sitting in the spillway, looking for a meal. Come on in here, buddy. Gotcha. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, right in the top of the mouth. Just like you're supposed to catch them. How about that? That's number one of the morning. He's a little deformed. He looks like he's had some issues earlier in life. Got one little bump on his tail. Other than that though, he seems pretty healthy. There's number one, Mr. Spotted Bass. Caught him in the spillway. I saw some fry kind of turning the water over just a little bit. They weren't real active, but I could tell they were there. So anytime you've got bait fish in an area that's concentrated near a spillway, there's a chance that there's some bass that'll be feeding on them. And that's exactly where he was. And he came up, looked like he came straight up out of deeper water and hit my swim bait. This reel screamer, it's got a lot of action. That's due to that tail right there. It just gives it a tremendous amount of action, so you don't have to do a whole lot with it. It can fall down and just sink, and then when you just barely twitch it, it'll swim by itself. So I'm gonna work this spillway just a few more times. I'm still seeing some action going on. And that fish actually hit that bait on the fall. I had twitched it a couple times and let it sink like it was dying, and that I saw the swirl. He got it fairly close to the surface. Which is normal this time of the year. If they don't have to chase their food very far to get a meal, that's what they would rather do. They'll take the easy pickings any day when the water's this hot. I've said it before, I've said it on 2 or 3 different shows. When the water's really hot or it's really cold, they still have to eat. But it's like they don't want to chase the bait very far. If you put it right where the fish are, your chances go way up. They're not going to come from 10 feet to chase a bait sometimes. And this water out here, after I left the shade, which has only been 5 minutes since I escaped from the comfort of the shaded bank, I went from 80, 85, 86 degree water to now I'm sitting in 80, 88 degree water. So it's a lot of difference. The wind's got me turned around the way I don't want to be. Like I get to be filmed by a helicopter this morning. He's checking me out. think that's the first time a helicopter passenger has actually waved at me while I've been fishing. I know it's the first time I've been circled by one while I was fishing. Today I had an hour or so before dark. I just wanted to come film a little bit while I had the opportunity. I just wanted to do a little worm fishing because it's relaxing. I'm starting with a 6-inch firetail, or black firetail scoundrel made by Cream, with a 2/0 Gamakatsu wide gap hook. And this old dingy murky water, I think that'll be the trick. There's a bite. Good fish. Oh, where is he going? Where's he going? Oh, come back here. You don't like that. There we go. Oh, I'm getting wet. Getting wet. What we got here? A piece of a fin. Ooh, buddy, I'm gonna get that thing out of your mouth. Let's see what we got. Old Cream scoundrel, June bug color. This bass has a tiny fin. Regular fin, tiny fin. We're gonna call him Nemo. Nemo, you grow bigger. Man, that wind blowing feels so good to what I've been used to this past week. But I'm afraid another thunderstorm is going to push its way in. One just passed and there's several in the area, and I'm hoping I don't get stuck out here in a lightning storm. way to catch a fish right there. Don't you put that in my hand. Ah. I was hoping to get one or two more before we lost the light. He's got all his fins though. We'll see you, little buddy. There's one. Oh no, did he come off? No, he did not come off. He was running. There we go. Oh, he's mad, he's mad. Come here, come here, come here. There we go. Oh, he's a little fatter. A little fatter. Eating that June bug worm up. Healthy. I sure will. I left my battery up in the truck. I can't turn them on. I forgot I took it out. Nearby neighbors wanted to see my kayak lights, but I don't have my battery with me. There's one. Where you going, buddy? Come back here. Oh, he wants to throw it so bad. Oh, he's wet. He's always wet. Oh, cut it out. Cut it out. Almost the same size as the other one. Where's my hook? Can I have that back? Alright. Fast and furious now. Losing daylight. Fish have turned on. There's lightning in the horizon. I gotta hurry. A couple more and I'm gonna have to get on out of here. You've heard that before, hadn't you? One more cast. That's usually about 20. If the fish are biting, it might be 30.
Would you like to spend your summer riding your motorcycle? Don't spend your time on the side of the road, waiting on a tow truck. Get a Give DJ's Enhanced a call for all your motorcycle tire needs. Danny is a rider, and he will treat your bike as if it's his own.
Yak lights, the industry standard for kayak lighting. Assembled in the USA and including a lifetime warranty on all lights, you can rest assured that you will have the best looking boat on the water. Yak lights are made from solid aluminum, making them the toughest light strips on the market. Our lights are designed for the professional angler who wants to be safe on the water while remaining discreet. Yak lights, light up the night.